Hi everyone. We got Looney, except we've got no camera for Looney. Oh, look at Looney's picture.
It's very summery in Germany at the moment, apparently.
Apparently.
Very green too.
Wow. So how many we got? Well, everyone moved over to the chat? I hope so.
Yeah, there's like 37 people watching.
Oh, wow. Cool. So quick explanation for everyone, just so you know what happened. So I don't know whether this is a bug in the new YouTube Studio or not, but when you create a stream for Google Hangouts, as opposed to just a normal stream like you do through OBS, then what's supposed to happen is you click go on air, and then it launches the Google chat window like we're in now, but there's an on air button. Like right now, this says it says I'm off air, right? And then what you're supposed to do is when you're ready, you click the on air button and it starts broadcasting. But it doesn't work. It just starts broadcasting as soon as you launch. Hey, Looney. And even this one here. So the window I just used to create this stream says, when you are ready, click this button to start broadcasting live. But it's already live. And I haven't clicked the button. So there's clearly a bug.
Okay, hi.
Oh, how's everyone doing?
That was a mess. Shall we repost the new link, or did you post it in the old stream already?
Yeah, David Watts posted the new link over.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and we've got a whole bunch of new people here. I have no idea how many people though.
I just tweeted out the link too.
Cool, thank you. I don't have Twitter on this machine, so yeah, can everyone? Yeah, if we can. If everyone can share, that'd be awesome. So I don't even have a live control room button because I haven't started the Hangouts yet. How crazy is that? Anyway. Well, welcome everyone to Makercast episode 2, version 2, the real one, not the fake one. Oh boy. So for those that have joined one of my streams before, how's that for an unexpected stream happening? It's expected, right? Everyone expects disaster on my streams. So there you go. True to form. I've kept
that 20 minutes goes towards your 1 to 2 hour limit as well.
For the first one? No, because this is a new stream, so it should be okay.
No, I'm including that 20 minutes.
Oh, right, okay. Well, let's not do 2 hours.
You got 40 minutes.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, so it was an expected start on an unexpected Maker channel. Anyway, welcome. So for those of you that are new to Makercast, Makercast is a monthly stream. There's a whole bunch of us makers that get together and just have a bit of a chat about the month that's gone past, the things we've been working on, good and bad fails with projects, things we're looking forward to, and just any news, I guess, to chat about. For those of you that did catch the first episode that was on bitluni's channel, welcome back. Glad to have you here again. If you haven't checked out the first episode, Looney, you should post a link to the first episode on your channel. So every month we're going to be rotating who's hosting. So bitluni hosted the first one. I'm doing a very bad job of hosting the second one. And then I think Brian Locke is going to be hosting the third, unless, I'm just putting it all out here now, unless he has a new baby, which could happen.
This is all true. Yeah, but you've set the bar now, so I don't have to. It's like running away from a bear. You don't have to outrun the bear. You just have to outrun your friend. So I just have to do better than you, and it'll be fine.
Anyone could do better than me. My kids could do better than me. Yeah. Cool.
Seon, you can control the camera. Which one is which image is big if you just click on the image of the person who is speaking. So it won't jump back and forth between the people that are making noises on the stream. Just, yeah.
Okay, well, it's normally Steve, so that's fine. I'll just mute you.
I can hear an echo as well. Can you hear an echo with my voice?
Nope.
I think
no.
I think I'm playing with OBS, so I think I can hear myself. It's
Okay.
very
You know your
distracting.
name's backwards, Steve, on the screen.
Brian told me to reverse it.
Yeah, the plugin up in the top right menu has a flip horizontal button or whatever it is. You know, it's up in the Windows drop down.
Well, I did
Whatever.
that, and then I think I did it again. So the double. Hang on, here we go.
There, yeah, it's perfect though.
Is it better?
Yeah, that's right. That's done.
Can I
Also,
say,
mute your audio source in OBS. That'll probably fix your echo problem.
just quickly,
Okay.
want
Can
to...
you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, that's the echo. Brian, you're a genius.
Just quickly, one of DYI in chat has... he asked, is it an unexpected baby? And I'm pretty sure Brian knows the baby's coming. I'm pretty sure it's expected.
Jeez,
Yeah.
not too unexpected, anyways. That's for sure. Yeah.
Cool. Do you all have the chat open as well? Have you all popped out the chat so you can all see it? Okay, cool. Because there's a lot of chat going past, and I'm feeling a bit stressed about trying to read it all. So anyway, okay. So let's get started because we've wasted a lot of time. Well, it's only 5 minutes in. It feels like 35 minutes in. Don't know why. Who's going to start this one off? I think we should start off with Mr. Ludgate.
Yeah, that's fine. So what we're doing? Are we doing what we've done, or here we are? I missed that.
Yeah, we should. Let's introduce ourselves.
Yeah, my name is Stephen Ludgate. I'm usually online known as Chunky Stevo, and I am a avid maker. Yet I have very little time to do so. A lot of 3D printing, getting into Arduino, and lots of ESP8266 stuff, and just progressing my coding and trying to build stuff. And currently, I'm also on baby duty. So if I have to dash out, it's to shut a baby up. But I have a stand-in, so don't worry.
Did you just say shut your baby up? Oh,
Put the dummy in.
put the dummy in. Okay. Cool. Okay. We'll keep going. Intros. Who wants to go next? Liz, go.
Hi, I'm Liz. I have a channel Blitz City DIY. Make a lot of different things, 3D printing, things like that. So yeah.
Nice and quick. Okay, cool. Brian.
Hey, I'm Brian Lough. I also have a YouTube channel. I guess we all do. Yeah, I mainly do projects around the ESP8266 and other little bits of making, and I've been bitten by the PCB bug as well. Can't stop ordering those PCBs, even though I try stop. But yeah, that's what happens. So yeah, that's me.
Cool. And Looney.
Hi, I'm bitluni. I'm just trying to announce the new link in the background. Sorry. Yeah, you probably know me from Bitluni's Lab, my YouTube channel, and yeah, I'm doing a lot of maker stuff, mainly electronics, I guess, and yeah, that's all.
Cool. And I'm Seon, Unexpected Maker is my channel, which you all know because you're here. I'm also I kind of dabble in all sorts of maker stuff, it seems, these days. Laser cutting, 3D printing, electronics, pretty much everything I touch fails. So, you know, it's all, you know, the genuine maker journey. You know, for every win, there's 10 fails, and you're constantly second guessing yourself. But it's, yeah, pretty fun place to be mucking around in. So I think we should, who wants to talk about what they've been working on? I'm quite happy for people to volunteer this one.
I can go if you want.
Cool. Go, Brian.
Right. So since the last time we talked, I decided to finish a project that I started working on about 2 years ago. I bought LED lights for my daughter. So they're kind of like Christmas lights, except they're in the shapes of stars. And so my plan was to make them Wi-Fi controlled, and I made out a PCB. I even soldered it into perf board, and I never actually just like finished the code for it at all. Like I had my MOSFET and I was able to control the LEDs. All was all good, but never actually just got around to finishing the finishing the thing, and we were talking about bitluni's video on the last Makecast that I commented on about using Telegram to control the lights or control lights in his house, and I was like, I should just do Telegram and finish that off or whatever. So I did that. That video is available on my channel if anybody wants to see it. So there was that. What else did I do? I did a stream there on Saturday. Let's flip around to this on the. Where are we? The Atiny 841. So the Atiny 841 is like a $1 chip, pretty similar in price and kind of specs to an Atiny 85, except it has two serial ports on it, so it should be useful for a couple of different things. And it also supports being an I2C slave. That was the main reason I got it. Because I have some projects in mind where I want to create my own I2C devices. So on the stream, I was like, hey, let's do a quick hour stream where we look at programming this board and everything will be great. It was like 3 hours later, literally 3 hours later, not the SpongeBob meme saying 3 hours later. It was literally 3 hours later, I got it to blink an LED. So there was that. I'm out of focus. It's impossible for me to tell. This little window I have to see is like tiny. So that was the 841. Interesting. So I have that working now. I have it working with. Oh,
you got the NeoPixels working. Yay!
I did get the NeoPixels working. I have literally one blinking. That's all you need, though, right? It doesn't work with the Adafruit NeoPixel library, but it does work with Fast LED and also another library that I found that's specifically for. So there is one blinking LED, but it does light up all of them too.
Why did you put a ring on there and all you gave me is one blinking LED?
Look,
It's
I
not
have
even,
more.
It's not even red. Like, it's not even color.
I mean, if you like it, you got to put a ring on it.
That's true. There you go. Ring on it. So that was just the example that was the Fast LED library. I don't know. The other one was much more impressive, but look, we are where we are. It also it's quite slow to upload by ISP, so I'm not going to flash something else onto it. But they're fun. I'm looking forward to playing around with that a little bit more. As mentioned, my PCB bug kicked in a little bit. I've made 2 PCBs since we talked last. This one is called the D1 Mini Screen Breakout. So it just has pins for like common screen types. And I should have taken these down already, but I'll take them down now. So say, for example, the Nokia 5110 screen. So you can slot that in there, and you can slot your D1 Mini in the other side, and it has all the wiring up to it, and it also supports doing it for the OLED screens as well. The OLED screens have kind of oddly, there's 2 different pinouts for different types of screens. So this one has ground on the left, and this one has VCC on the left, although I'm mirrored, so it looks like I'm pointing to the right. So yeah, I have the pinouts different for the top and bottom. So if it has VCC on the outside, you can put it in the bottom one and invert it in software. If it has ground on the outside, you can put it. This works fine, except the holes I have, the mounting holes don't line up, so I probably need to make them again. So that was a bit of a boo-boo. But seems okay. The other one I have is the D1 Mini Matrix Breakout. So that's these big RGB LED displays. So normally you have to connect up like 8 pins from the WeMOS to the P in, and then like another 6 pins from P in to P out to work with the PX Matrix library. And so this just stops that. So it slots straight into the P in pin, and you use the P out connection with the ribbon cable that comes with the display to connect the whatever ones from P in need to be connected to P out. And then also you're using the power cable from the that comes with the display to connect to these screw terminals, and then you can either power it via these 5mm screw terminals or the DC jack, and yeah, that works pretty well. Happy
So where
with that.
did you get the purple power jacks from, Brian?
Where else do you think I got it? I got it from AliExpress. The purple one is like 10 times the price of a black one. You
But
can
20,
buy like
20 times more better.
20 times more better. That is a perfectly crafted sentence. Yeah, it's you can buy like the black ones were one of the first things I went, wow, some things in China are ridiculously cheap. You can buy the black TC jacks for 4 cents each delivered. It might even be 3 cents each. And it's like, what is going, how can you possibly make something for that price? That doesn't mean anything to me. Yeah, I'm blown away by that. But yeah, the purple ones, I think they're like 10 times the price. But yeah, so that's it for that one. That one is available on my Tindy now, which should be linked in below. I'm not sure if it still is, but yeah, that plug, why not? And then the other stupid thing I made was we talked about it on a stream before about so these are my D1 mini breakouts, also available on my Tindy, plug. But I made a PCB for these called the Breakout. I don't think you'll be able to read that, but so it has a prototype area here. So these are all the screw terminals broken out of a D1 mini. You might see a pattern. I really like D1 minis. And yeah, so instead of, if you soldered a circuit to here, it would now be kind of have used up your breakout board. If you have a breakout, you can solder your circuit onto this. And if you want to swap it out for something else, you can just lift it out and swap in a different one. So I have no idea if anybody's going to use that, but it seemed like a good idea, and I said I'd just throw it together. So that's mainly what I've been doing. Oh, and one last thing. Let me just flip around. You might see over there, it's probably too hard to see, but you'll see 3 monkeys on a VGA screen. That is using bitluni's library. I'm never going to be able to reach it with my headphones on.
Yay!
But yeah, so thank
Was
you
that
for that,
three
Bitluni.
monkeys or 3 monkeys?
They're monkeys
tree
that climb up
monkeys.
trees, but there's also 3 of them.
Three
Thank you
monkeys.
Thank you for insulting my Irish accent. Yeah, so I'm just using the simple wiring Bitlunis, the 3-bit one. Yeah, so it
Looks pretty good, even for.
works
Yeah.
great. Yeah. The next thing I'd
Did
like
you,
to
did
be
you
able
use
to do.
dithering?
Did I
or
use
is
a
it-
bit array? Which-
Dithering.
Dithering?
Dithering.
Dithering? No, I did. I don't know
Just,
what you're talking
8
about there.
colors.
Now, to be
Yeah,
honest. Did I use dithering?
Never mind.
I have no idea what that is. So no, I presume I didn't. So what I did for putting the image on it was there's a website called like the Rinky Dink or something that has an image conversion software on it. So it converts the image to 5 RGB. Is it 565? And then I like manually converted it to RGB 888 and passed that into your library for each color. So I literally have an array that's like 72,000 characters or whatever. They're most of them
did
being
you
just
know-
red.
Did you
So,
know
yeah.
there is a tool that you can use to just convert the image to a sprite?
No.
Okay, there is in the library. It's a little bit hidden. If you install the library, you can go into the folder or just on GitHub from the library, and there is a utilities subfolder. And if you enter this, there is a I think Sprite Editor. HTML, you just launch it in the browser, and you can just upload an image and choose the pixel format that you want to use. And yeah, you will have just to use. I think I don't know which one you actually used. You can use the 4-bit, the 3-bit one, or the 14-bit one.
I used
And
the
then-
3-bit one. Yeah.
Yeah, and it will just drop you an H file, and you can include this and use it as a sprite.
Nice. Yeah, so probably the next thing I'd like to do with that is make a really big font, because the largest font at the moment I think is 8x8, is it? And,
No, there's like 8x16. This standard DOS fonts. Yeah, I
Yeah.
included them in the latest, but it's not. I think it's not uploaded as the new update.
Yeah.
But they're
Yeah,
uploaded on GitHub.
Okay, yeah. So it might be interesting to do like a social stats counter or something using an old VGA monitor that I forgot I had and found in the shed over the weekend. So yeah, that's pretty much it from me.
So you're using a low-powered ESP32, and you're going to plug it into a old VGA monitor that probably sucks more power than every other appliance in your house.
Like it's an LCD. It's not that old. So it definitely isn't sucking more power than other appliances in the house. But yeah, it's actually quite a nice one. I don't know where I got it, but
Didn't they start
you know how
making?
the
Didn't they start making screens with VGA connectors like 30 years ago? No, or am I just old?
Definitely not, because yeah, Liz, do you want to jump in?
Well,
there?
I work at a school and we are still using VGA almost exclusively in our classrooms. Probably like 80% of the rooms are still VGA. So
Wow. Okay.
Mhm.
Just because Mac got rid of the VGA port a long time ago doesn't mean that the rest of us aren't using it. Or yeah, like one of my 2 monitors on my desk is a 24-inch Dell. It's pretty old now. It's over 10 years old, but that still has a VGA connection.
It's 10
on it.
years old.
Yeah, but you said like 20 years.
Okay. Oh, we lost Looney. Okay, so let's move on. Liz, do you want to tell us what you've been working on, Liz?
Sure. So I've been doing a lot of 3D printing recently, just kind of experimenting with stuff. I wanted to print these Easter eggs. They're on Thingiverse. I saw last year, but I didn't have time to. So I got this like rainbow filament to experiment with, and it's been going really well, but I'm mostly impressed with the Baranoi, I think that's how you say it, where it has like all the cutout circles. I got the retraction settings in really nicely, so I had like 0 stringing. This is like no cleanup, so that was cool. I also printed with flexible filament for the first time. Used NinjaFlex, and I actually remixed a GoPro holder from Adafruit, and that's basically the only reason why I wanted to print in NinjaFlex, because I wanted a GoPro case. And it went pretty well with the Prusa. I was a little bit afraid, just because of everything I'd seen about it, but it was fine. I also printed a Benchy, just because it didn't come out that great, but went for it. The main electronics project I've been working on is doing a IR-controlled robot. So this is the robot portion. It's using Adafruit, Circuit Playground, and a Cricut board. And then I'm controlling that with IR. And so I've got an IR LED array on the front, and then I'm using an analog joystick, and that's going in with Trinket M0 and a Seesaw board. And the Seesaw board just makes it so it's easier to get the analog input to the Trinket. And then the Circuit Playground has the IR receiver on board, so it can get the LEDs. I'm probably going to do a PCB for this, where the Seesaw and Trinket will plug in, and then it might be like a 2-part where it'll be a PCB that the LEDs can be soldered to and kind of like plug into the front so they're facing out, but the main body of the PCB is flat. So I'll do like right angle headers for it. And then I'm working on some other stuff, but unfortunately I can't talk about it.
NDAs.
Yes, but it's one of them's coming out tomorrow. It involves cats and guitars. That's all I can say.
Cats
I
and
have one
guitars.
question, Liz.
Yeah.
How do you manage to do all this stuff? You are working full time, I think, and then you manage, and then you manage to push out the videos and write a book and all that stuff. So I'm wondering how do you do that?
Yeah, plug your book. Plug your book.
I wrote a book on the Asus Tinkerboard, which is basically like a Raspberry Pi clone. And I just try to find like little pockets of time. Like if there's an hour, I'll be like, okay, I can like edit a couple minutes of video here and there. And like I take the train into work. So I actually wrote majority of my book on the train because it's like a 40-minute ride for each way. So just finding little pockets of time. Yeah.
Hey, Liz, can you explain what this seesaw chip is? 'Cause that's an Adafruit kind of design thing, right?
Yeah, I can try to. It can think of it kind of like a coprocessor, where you're kind of using it as like a signal interpreter, I believe, where like basically it's communicating over I2C to the trinket. So like because trinket only has a couple pins, it kind of makes its trying to think if I can explain this properly. So the main code is running.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, it's all good. The main code's running on the trinket, and I'm running it in CircuitPython. And then the seesaw connects through I2C, and you can use the seesaw to interpret like analog inputs and outputs. It's kind of meant, I think, to work more with boards that don't necessarily have that capability, like with like a Raspberry Pi where it doesn't have the analog digital converter. So you can use it with that. But I use it here just so that I could use more pins, basically. And the code for it's super simple. Like it's easier than if you were just using like analog on board with the trinket.
So in your case, you're just using it like a GPIO expander.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Fantastic. Great stuff. Can you hold up your eggs? They look much bigger in the photograph.
Arduino, I hope I'm saying that right. Then there's another one. It's a little bit more fancy. Then this is like a Minecraft kind of style one.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
Ooh,
And then low poly. And this one has like kind of this weird design on it. And then one more. It's a swirly one. It's all printed with this rainbow filament, so it's all kind of changing naturally. I'll link the Thingiverse file for these in the chat because they're really cool. And there's like I think like 5 or 6 more that I have to print. So I just want to get them done before Easter so they can be like on display. So.
Very cool. They look really good. Yeah, the photos on Twitter look fantastic.
That's very forward planning for Easter. I start my 3D Easter prints start like Saturday, and I just give up.
Cool. Okay, Mr. Ludgate, hit it.
Yes. So quick update from last month. I was talking about getting my Zigbee stuff running with home automation. So a day after the stream, these little sensors came and switch. So these are all Xiaomi sensors. So you got a little switch, multifunction switch, and like a little proximity sensor. And this is it's got a luminance sensor as well. So it's like a 2 sensor in one. Set these up with the what's it called, the Zigbee to MQTT. That all went fine using all the instructions that you can find on GitHub. And just the hardest part is actually the home automation running in Home Assistant. It's such a powerful bit of software that they say you can do anything with it, but to find a tutorial to show you the specifics of I want it to do this, it's very hard. So it's going to be a very long sit down and work out and start from scratch. But this is a button you can have. Bye, Seon. You can have 1 click, 2 click, 3 click, 4 click, hold, and multiple click. So from this, I've got 2 for testing. I had 2 lamps, and I could control each lamp independently. And then if I held it, they would go on and off. So it was very, very handy. But now it's turned into a switch for the bedroom light, so we don't have to get up out of bed.
It sounded like a Dr. Zeus book for a minute there. 1 click, 2 click, 3 click, 4. Turn off the light without touching the floor.
I was trying to think of something to rhyme. I like it. And this, I got it working. It shows you the occupancy is true or false, and it shows you the luminance level, which is very useful. But I want to get this working in my twins' room to activate like an under cot lighting system, so we don't have to turn the landing lights on. but it does work. So these guys are running little coin batteries. So it's a combination of 2450s and CR2032s, and it reports their battery life as well. And it's incredibly good. One's at 100, one's at 80. They've stayed there ever since I've installed them, and supposedly the battery life is like 1 year to 2 year, depending on the sensor use. So it's really good. I love all the Wi-Fi and the ESP stuff, but the trouble with that is the Wi-Fi is very battery hungry. So these sensors are kind of like set and forget sensors. You set them up and they just work for a year or two, and you can set up again some kind of home automation script in Home Assistant, and it will flag up and say sensor X in your bedroom, the battery's logo, change it. So that's cool. So that was just a quick update, if you want to call it that. I waffle. Oh my God, I waffle. So what I've been working on this week, let me try my OBS. Where we are, let me just hide this.
Very fancy now.
Yeah, I literally just tried it tonight. I was like, all right, I'm going to show up Seon. I'm going to get this all working. So he just sits there with his single camera.
Ouch.
So what I found on Instructables was this literature clock using an old Kindle. So it's basically like a clock using an e-paper display. So these guys are using an old Kindle display, and it goes through various quotes and text from books, and it displays the time in a very cool and different way. So I'm a big fan of internet clocks and trying to show the time in different ways. So I had a look at that, and the way this guy uses it is he gets there's like a CSV of all the times. So there's 1,440 minutes in the day, and I think the Guardian was the main site, which basically is a bit of a crowdsourcing technique, and they got a quote from a book from pretty much every minute. So it's very interesting. If you're into your books, I'm not actually into reading or books or anything, but I do like a good quote and references. So this guy did it via the CSV of all the quotes. He actually made pictures. So this image that you see here, it's basically like a bitmap. So the time is a darker font, and the rest of the quote is just lighter font. So I looked to see, well, there must be an Arduino version. Someone must have done this before, but it would appear that no one's really bothered or tried to do that. So I thought, well, that's something nice to work on. It's been a busy month, so I haven't really got much time to make stuff. So whenever that happens, I always just revert to coding and plugging in a microcontroller and just tinkering away. So I came up, let's see if this works. So this is the Badgie from last month, if you remember. So it's basically an e-paper display with an ESP8266 running on the back. It is supposed to be battery powered, but if you check out last month's stream, you'll know that it does not work. But it is essentially a tiny Kindle, and I've got it working to this point. So if you can read that, it's a ridiculously long quote from Agatha Christie. Is this flipped or is this the right way?
That's the right way.
All right, good.
It just changed. Cool.
So yeah, at the moment it changes like every 10 seconds instead of a minute, because each time it's actually got all the popular times, like midnight and noon and various o'clocks. It's got lots of different references to text, whereas some only have one. So I'm just setting it so it does refresh quite a lot, just for testing purposes. But you can see here, you might recognize some books, but it basically lists through the quote, and the time is the one slightly bolder. So you can immediately see the issue with this screen. It's 2.9 display, and it's just too small to show anything good. This font is, I think it's 7-point font, but it's still too small for a lot of the quotes.
You need shorter quotes.
Yeah, there's a few out there that are only a couple of lines, which is good, and they do look good. So I was planning to make it so it increased the font. But what I do plan to do is I'm going to get there's like a 4.2 inch size e-paper display, and I think that's 400 by 300 pixels, I believe. So that should be more than enough to show the quotes. But I do really like just reading the quotes. You can see the time there. It's 8:33 or thereabouts. Yeah, that's right, in UK time. and you kill. That's from Red Dwarf. That's cool. Yeah, Red Dwarf is actually books as well, rather than a series. So that is what I've been working on. That is the end result, which I was frantically working on up until last night, just to get it working for this stream. It kind of took me down a rabbit hole, learning more about Arduino Json, which is a fantastic library. I'm sure you guys are very aware of that if you code in Arduino. If you're not, you should really check it out on GitHub.
Are you using the new version?
No. Every time I use that, it just seems to kill every project. So I'm just waiting for the nice people to code it up.
Seon was saying it's been released this week.
Yeah.
Has it? All right. Okay.
Yeah, they released the new update, and interestingly, it's a complete API change. So it's code-wise, it's not compatible at all. Like they completely redesigned everything.
That's what I've tried the betas, and the betas just kill everything that uses it. So yeah, obviously it'd be a massive overhaul.
Yeah, I maintain about 10 API libraries, and like 8 of them use Arduino Json. So I have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, and my library is piggy off the back of your work. So that was
let me be first through the door, so Stephen.
Yeah, feel free to update my libraries, and I'll give you.
I'll send you a PR.
Contributor note on GitHub, something special.
So generous.
Okay, let's move on. Looney, what have you been working on?
Yeah. So this month, I think I just, between the last stream and now, I had just one video uploaded, and that was about my ESP32 library that's on Arduino. So it's public, and you can just type bitluni or ESP32lib, and it will show up. And it simplifies the usage of the VGA stuff that I have done the video before, and I plan to extend this by all the functionalities that I'm using on the ESP32 on a regular basis to make it quite simple. You just go with one library and have all the graphics, and you can. I will include this composite video as well. I didn't finish this yet, but what I did on the library is I mentioned it before. I'm not sure if it was also on the makercast that I want to use the ultra low power processor of the ESP32 since it was just idling around, and that's the only core that we can use in real time. So it's not interrupted, it's just running all the time. And I thought with my implementation of the composite video, I'm not able to use both digital to analog converters with I2C at the same time, or at least if I want to, the first one is used for the video, and that's a ridiculous sampling rate. And to use it, the second one for the sound, either I push out the samples as well, but that halves the sampling rate. So it's a little bit complicated. My former approach was to untie the digital to analog converters and use a timer interrupt to push out every single sample. And I wanted to improve this, to not use the interrupt every sample, and to write a driver for the ultra low power processor of the ESP to do the audio output on the digital to analog converter. And I managed to finish this, so it's working. I wrote the driver today, but it's not published yet. I think that will be one of the next videos. So it's working with any sampling rate you like. It could work up to like 300 K samples per second in stereo, I think. But the usual ones like 48 kilohertz or 22 or 40 for 1, like for CD quality, you could use this as well. So this is working, and it's working in the background. You have just to fill up the buffer for the ultra low power processor to handle the sound. So yeah, I had this idea to do this, and it was quite yeah, successful, even though the ultra low power processor limits how you can use the memory and how you can write to the digital to analog converter. So it's not really possible, but yeah, if you unroll this writing the samples to the whole memory, it works well, and you have like 1,000 samples that you can buffer in the ultra low power processor. So that was what I was doing for the ESP library. What I did as well for the library, the VGA stuff, I included some fonts. So people requested like old DOS fonts, and I did that. It's already uploaded on GitHub, but I didn't increase the version number, so it's not it's not live in Arduino for now. But I will change also the default pins, since people that were using the pin 0 had finally problems also with some monitors with this boot sequence because it was pulling low or something. So that doesn't work on all monitors, and I have to change the default pin configuration for the complete library, and I will do this with the next video so I can announce that. Yeah, except for this, I will maybe try to share my screen. I hope I don't show. Yeah. Okay.
Be careful.
Can you see that?
Are these your boards that haven't turned up yet?
Yeah, they're so DHL Express. I wanted to show them off in the stream right now, but yeah, that will be a mini ESP32 mini kit shield for the VGA, for those people who don't like to cut up old VGA cables. And yeah, it will be like a easy soldable kit with the components, yeah, with true hole components like the typical resistors and VGA yeah, plug, and yeah, and you just need this one of the mini kits to put it on the shield. And so it will be a kit, and probably I will, for a little bit more cash, I will solder them if you don't like to solder yourself.
Hard cash.
Yeah. So that was that, and what did I else? Yeah, I just wanted them to have the boards here, but yeah, that didn't show up, and they were like in customs for like few days, and DHL didn't move since Thursday, so I'm not even sure if I get them tomorrow. But yeah, I will announce this on the video as soon there is a Tindy store or anything. Yeah, the last thing I did, except for being in the garden, since the weather was so nice in Europe all the time, doing like gardening stuff, I also started to debug this one. So I have shown this. Yeah, I was procrastinating that one for a long time, and finally I started to debug it. And I found out I had my tantalum cap the wrong way around, so it's probably blue, and there was a short, and then the voltage regulator broke, and I had 5 volts on the complete USB IC, and it's probably broken as well. And I just started step by step putting on the components and testing the voltages one by one to see if it's finally working. So this one doesn't have a short anymore. I switched the voltage regulator and the tantalum cap, but probably the IC isn't working anymore since it had over voltage for a certain time. It doesn't show up on the PC if I connect it.
Why are you using a tantalum, not just an MLCC?
I'm not sure. They need like 10 microfarads or something. They're quite hard to find small ones with. Well,
really?
what
I
Yeah.
got 0402 10 microfarads here.
10.
Come on.
Okay. Can you?
I'll send you
give me a
some.
link?
I'll post this. I'll post you some, bitluni. I
Yeah,
think I
yeah.
even have some. No, not 0402s. I'm not insane.
Well, 402 is hard to find, the 10 microfarad, but yeah, I've got those, and I've got 0603s as well.
Very
I
hard to
think
find
it
if you
was-
drop it too.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, and people are asking in the chat if I had magic smoke on camera. No, I didn't have it. It was just getting hot, and I was using this technique with the isopropanol to see where it's getting hot and what's the voltage regulator. So, but I didn't see any magic smoke escaping there. Sorry.
Damn. Damn. Cool. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
Okay, my turn. I've had I feel like I've had a disaster month. I feel like I've spent a lot of time 3D printing, and I've spent a lot of time with broken 3D prints. So about 3 weeks ago, I decided to see if I could get, because like in my videos when I do 3D printing, I just have my DSLR sitting in front of the 3D printer, and I put it on time-lapse mode and hope that the battery doesn't run out or the memory stick doesn't run out, and I take video. And some of my prints have been really long. They've been like 5-6 hours. And so I thought, hang on, there's this Octolapse plugin that you can put on Octoprint, and you can do your time lapse through a little Pi camera that's in front of my printer. So I thought, I'm going to install that. So what's it called, Brian? Shaving yaks? Is that your term?
Yeah, do people know that term? You're shaving yaks?
Okay, well, I'm going to explain what shaving yaks means.
Do.
Yeah, I'm going to explain now, right? So shaving yaks means where you... Okay, so this is what happened. I thought, okay, I'm going to install Octolapse. So I went to install it, and I need to run a newer version of Octoprint. So I update my Octoprint. Sure. Okay, now I go install Octolapse again. Actually, you need to install this plugin, and this plugin requires a new version of Octopi. So, okay, I started updating my Octopi. So I got my Octopi updated, and then, you need to reinstall all of these new things now to make everything work properly with the Prusa. So I installed all of those things. So this is over a couple of days, right? And I finally got everything installed, and then tried to get Octolapse working, and it wouldn't work, right? And so for some reason, sometimes it started up and it took the first image, but it didn't take any other ones. And then sometimes it was just taking random images. So what Octolapse is designed to do is to read the G code while it's running, and you can specify where you want it to stop and intercept and take a screenshot, right? And the ideal way of doing it is when the head is moved out the way, so you can get a really clean shot of the print. And then if you've seen the videos where the print just builds like this and there's no print head in the view, and they look really cool. That's what I was trying to do, but I couldn't get it working with the Mark III. And there's some G code you have to insert, which I tried doing it. Anyway, I made a big mess of it. Couldn't get it working. And so I uninstalled it and thought, okay, fine. And then I took my videos of my stencil holder that I made, which I didn't bring over. Hang on. I can't show you right now because it's got paste all over it. I haven't cleaned it. But anyway, so I printed those, and I got some wonky prints from them, and I couldn't kind of work out what it was, but it was fine. And I moved on, and then I started working on a new project where I was printing. There's an end to this story. I started working on a new project where I'm trying to print. I'm printing PLA and Flex, and I'm trying to build. So the blue is Flex. I actually want it to be white, but I don't have white Flex at the moment. And the inside is a button. And so the idea is this is a light up ring when it's white. So there are LEDs underneath here, but it's Flex and it's a button, and you can push it. And it's got enough movement to push a button down. It's for a project that I'll talk about at another time. And every time I printed it, the print was, like you see, you got really nice smooth walls here. It was all jagged, and I couldn't work out what was going on. And so every print I was doing was jagged edges, and sometimes jagged, sometimes it wasn't. I spent 3 days printing and tweaking and updating my firmware and downgrading my firmware in my printer and changing different slicer PE versions and everything else. And it turns out that if by some fluke, I don't know why, I just said, stuff this, and I loaded the file onto the SD card and printed off the SD card, and it worked beautifully. And I went back to Octoprint and it died again. And so it turns out whatever I did through all these different processes, I completely messed up Octoprint printing on my printer. And when I watched the printing, it was doing things like it'd be printing around, then it would go, print, It's like I couldn't send it commands. So I had to rip out my Pi and rip out my SD card and start the whole Octoprint install from scratch and everything else. And anyway, I've wasted like 5 days on my 3D printer just to print this. And it kind of works, but it kind of doesn't work. And I don't have the PCB to go with it yet, which is really frustrating. And through all of that, I also had to, oh, okay. Seriously, I'm telling you what, it's been a disaster. Does everyone recognize this? My little parts component for my little parts picker? Well, guess what? After printing all of these things and putting it all together, it doesn't work. And why doesn't it work? Because this is 100 grams. And I know 100 grams doesn't sound like much, but it's too heavy for the stepper that I'm using. And you get the steppers going, and it can't move. And it doesn't matter how much current I give it. And if I give it too much current, obviously it gets too hot and it melts the PLA. So
Is that without the component parts in it?
There's not even components in there. There's just the holder on top, right? It couldn't move. So I thought, damn this. Well, bigger stepper is not an option at the moment, or just because of size. So I thought, you know what? I suggested I was going to make a direct drive version. So I'm going to try to hold this up.
Seon, you have to drill the hole in the table after all.
Yeah, I'm going to drill a hole so the stepper can go higher. So I built this brand new one from scratch. It's direct drive. It's got a brand new base. I simplified everything. I made it really light. Right? You can see all that. And guess what? It still won't drive it properly. I still get not missed steps, but sometimes it just can't turn it. And then the momentum of the spinning doesn't allow it to stop, even with the easing in. So I've just given up and I'm going to do it with a brand new stepper. I'm going to use a bigger stepper, a more reliable stepper. I'm going to make it bigger, or I'm just not going to do it. I don't know. Right now I've abandoned the project. It's really frustrating. I've got all my JSON inventory stuff working on the software so I can see all my parts and I can pick the part I want. But this stepper, it's been the bane of my existence, and I've lost so much time on this project, and my Tiny Pico boards are here and I'm not even ready to use the parts picker, and that's the only thing I was building it for. So I've been in 3D printing hell this week. And I don't even know if I'm going to finish that project now, or one day I will when I've got the energy to do a complete third revision from scratch.
It sounds like, though, the bigger stepper will kind of fix it. Is that what I'm understanding? Well,
so the stepper I'm using it's one of these pancake steppers. It's really thin. Oh, by the way, look, I came up with, I don't know if I can lift this up. I came up with a unique way of doing the head on the stepper. Mm-hmm. So I needed a way of attaching the base or the top section to the stepper without like using cogs or anything, and I needed to be able to screw it on. So I made like a cross, but one of the crosses is the screw that holds it in place. So there's definitely no slippage or anything on it. But anyway, this stepper is just a really thin stepper. It's got no torque. Like when it's running, I can hold it and keep it from moving like quite easily. It's got no torque at all, and it can only go up to 300 milliamps, which is part of the problem. It's just a really underpowered stepper. It's not designed for what I'm trying to do. And so, yeah, I need to move to a bigger one. But the next smallest I've got is twice as high, which means that it's going to make the project really tall, much taller than I wanted it to. So
did you think about using like a warm gear and put a slim stepper just sideways?
right, well that's another option I can go if I'm going to redesign from scratch. Is that I can do I can just use a DC motor then, right, with a long worm gear, and then I can just be driving. As long as I can get the ratio right, just driving a center cog with a sideways worm gear. The long sideways steppers are still a bit chunky for what I want, but I've got some DC motors here that are quite small that should definitely be able to drive this. But then I need a different stepper, and then I need to change my coding, and then I have to use back to what I was talking about on my stream, rather than just using one sensor for a home, I'll have to use multiple sensors or get some slot sensors, and it's a completely rethink of the whole project to go for something like that. So it's definitely possible, but I've really burnt myself out on this project because it's been a lot of 3D printing and a lot of design. Like it was quite a complex design 3D wise, and I've been coding at the same time and getting everything working, and it's just it's become a one of those projects that I feel like I should just walk away from it.
I think it's kind of interesting the styles of videos that we do. So like myself, bitluni, and Liz, like we would normally show like finished projects rather than talk about in progress stuff. So like we would run into this type of thing all the time where you do a project and it just doesn't work out, but nobody sees it, right? Because we never publicized it until it was finished. So
nobody knows the trouble I've seen.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Although on my channel though, I've never hide. Like I always do stuff live, or show my thought process and try to show it in progress. Like I think I've only ever released maybe 2 videos or 3 videos that have been a start to finish, only show the end product and the process without all the drama. But I feel like this particular project has been like I've honestly spent hundreds of hours on this, and I just don't like. I've learned to stack about fusion and about building like I mean this was quite a complex system to kind of put together to it's probably a bit hard to tell, but these component cases are designed to not only slot in and slot out, but they're on particular angles that the momentum of the thing spinning pushes all the pieces to the outside. The shape inside of the compartments is designed to keep all the components close to me and not allow them to move sideways. Like I spent a lot of time, feel like wasted time, like designing all this type of stuff, and I've learned stacks, but it's hundreds of hours that I wish I would have maybe put onto something else, something a bit more productive, I think.
I try to look at it as you're investing time now that you won't have to later. Like, as you said, you've learned a lot, and I was impressed with that first video you published, even just seeing that demo of it. So I wouldn't beat yourself up over it. I think you've accomplished a lot, even if you didn't necessarily get to where you wanted to get.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, for me, this whole journey is about learning, and I'm quite happy to tackle things that, are way out there for me to build on my skills. But I also like having a conclusion at some form at the end. And for me, like, I really thought this tool would be really useful for me. It's like I was building some stuff yesterday, and I'm now like I can build I can build a tiny Pico faster. I can assemble a tiny Pico. Try again. I can paste and assemble a tiny Pico twice as fast as I can get the parts out for it. There we go. Right. It takes me twice as long to get all the parts off my shelf and have them all ready than it does for me to actually assemble a board. And so this project for me was supposed to be a massive time saver for me, regardless of the journey. And the journey's been annoying, and I have nothing to save my time with it at the end. So it feels like a double negative. So, but other than that, I've got some new PCBs I'm designing for this. This is going to be, might as well say what it is. I'm playing around with using an AT-Tiny 85 as an I2C slave, and it's going to be driving a button and some LED pixels that'll have code to animate them and stuff. So it's basically going to be an I2C button, lit up button that you can plug into any microcontroller, which doesn't sound overly exciting. I know it's just a button, but it's kind of fancy looking. So I just want to play around with I2C on a tiny 85, and Brian almost convinced me to use a tiny 841, and I have some in my shopping cart, but the amount of drama he had with that, I've decided not to for now.
I think the problem was me with that, because I'm getting on fine with it now.
One question, Brian, and did you wanted to use this ISP programmer? Did you?
Yeah, so at the moment, like what I use for an ISP programmer is Arduino as ISP.
Yeah, and the other one didn't work. Was this the problem? I didn't watch the whole stream. I just
you didn't watch all 3 hours of a boring stream of me trying to get Blink working on an 8041. I had this thing as well, which is USB AP user. I can't remember. So it's a what? Peppa Pig is filling in for Stephen, I think, at the moment. I don't know if everybody else could see that, but it's just Stephen looking good. Yeah, so this had a problem too. This is a clone of a USB Peppa Pig babysitter, even updated as OBS. Yeah, this is a clone of another tool, and the clone firmware doesn't support changing the source clock speed or something, so then it wouldn't work programming the 841. So then it was like, oh, you can just update that, and I was like, I am not going to do that on stream, but I've been looking into it, and it looks pretty. It looks like it's pretty easy to do, so I probably will do that at some stage. Yeah, just to update to that. I kind of like the Arduino as ISP. I don't have any major problems with it. Maybe it's slow, because it's very slow to update the entire like code. But the
upload is quite slow,
if you put I'm using a tiny core, and that has two board definitions for a tiny 841. One has a bootloader and one doesn't. And if you use the bootloader, uploading by serial when you have the bootloader is pretty fast. So I didn't have a big problem using that. So that's what I was doing in the end. I was able to update. I was able to burn the bootloader, and then use a different, using my Arduino as ISP, and then use a different USB to serial converter to actually update it. But since the stream, I've figured out that I am able to just upload the entire sketch using ISP as well.
Yeah, by coincidence, I had similar problems this week doing another project where I needed to use the AVR ISP MK2 to program an old 80 mega board that supports the ISP, but it didn't work from the, I wanted to upload the bootloader for Arduino and use it as an Arduino device, but it just failed. And what I read on forums, I spent like ages to try to debug it. And what I found in a specific comment or a specific forum, I don't know where exactly, is that if you install Atmel Studio, it will update the USB driver for the MK2, and it won't work anymore with the AVR dude that's used by the Arduino environment. So you have to uninstall the driver and use an older version for AVR dude to work again. And yeah, that's really a mess. And and at the end, I tried to use Arduino as ISP, but I didn't try it for long enough. And in the end, I had like to program an Arduino Mega, then download the firmware using AVR Studio and upload using AVR Studio to the other board that I'm using finally. So that's a real mess, and it was really funny to see you having similar problems at the same time.
That's called shaving yaks, by the way. We never finished that, did we? So the term Brian taught me was shaving yaks is when you need to do this. So to do this, you need to do this, and to do this, you need to do this, and this, and this, and this, and this. So yeah.
And all of a sudden, you find yourself up the side of a mountain shaving a yak. That's the term comes from. There's a real famous cold opening in Malcolm in the Middle where Hal is like changing a light bulb or something in a wardrobe, and he leans on a shelf and that falls, and he's like, oh, my daughter's outside whinging, so I'm not sure if you can hear that or not, but he leans on the shelf and it falls, and he's like, oh, I need to screw in the screwdriver, and he goes out to the drawer in the kitchen to get the screwdriver, and then the drawer is squeaky, and then he goes out to the shed to get the WD-40, but there's no WD-40, so he goes to get in the car to get some. And like, there's something wrong with the car, and then I can't remember the wife's name, but she comes home and was like, "Did you change the light bulb in the thing?" And he's like, "What does it look like I'm doing?" When he's under the car changing the oil, like, you know. So that's the definition of shaving yaks. Yeah.
But about this topic, not finishing projects or showing the progress, Liz, I was really enjoying watching your videos when you started doing the PCB design with your badge, and you didn't show the final badge or something. You just also shared the progress, even though it might have been out of focus or whatever the problems were when you uploaded the video. It still was helping me even, and I enjoyed watching it since the last time I did boards was like ages ago, and then I found it really refreshing to watch it from a perspective, not from a professional or experienced guy, to watch it from you, showing the progress as you learn how to do it, and show also the typical problems that you just have wrong wiring and to have to bodge, or it doesn't light up properly, or whatever the problems are. The first revision is always wrong. So
yeah,
I really enjoyed watching it. Yeah.
Thanks. Those are fun to make. The reason why I don't always show like in progress things or failures, because I really hate filming while I'm working on a project. With the PCB, it's a little bit easier, I feel like, to kind of show your in progress, because it's just like a screen share, and then you're just kind of talking into a webcam. So it's logistically a little bit easier. But I think what Seon does, where he shows his progress, is really awesome. I'm not good at editing those kind of videos, so that's why I don't share it. But
neither am I.
Come on, man.
My biggest problem with like showing in progress stuff, it's not coming from a place of shame or anything. Like, I have no shame. I'll show you whatever mistakes I make. There's no problem with that. Like, but it's more of a case of like time, I think. Like, I'm not good at editing videos, so like any video I edit, even like something simple like a post bag, just takes so much time that like I could be spending that time working on a video that I really want to get out there, and I want to make like searchable and stuff, like in terms of like the videos I really like to watch are ones that are like, you know, teach you something kind of specific or whatever. And, you know, like I'd like to also make my videos searchable in terms of like how to use X with an ESP8266, or how to get more pins on an ESP8266.
Yeah, and your last one with the Telegram was really awesome. It's had to be much work to do it.
It's
very impressive.
Thanks. I actually did very little work for that one, because that was the project with the that I'd made the PCB, like, or I did the perf board like 2 years ago. I wrote the Telegram library like 2 years ago, so I was just kind of bringing it together. Like, yeah.
I was wondering if you just did it in 1 week or something.
No, I spent a lot of time on that Telegram library for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, it's more just like, I also feel like during the summer of this or last year, I did more sort of like not a retrospective look at a project, talking about a project as I was doing it. And those videos really didn't do that well for me. And like I had like 3 of them in a row that didn't do so well. And it kind of put me off, I would say, doing those kind of videos. in future, like if I have a limited amount of time to do videos and like per month or whatever, and if those ones aren't going to do that well for me, and maybe it was just these 3 didn't do that well, but I didn't really like them that much either. Like I agreed with how they did, if I'm being completely honest. Like, so I just kind of decided I was going to take a step back from doing those style ones. I don't think I do them as well as other people, so I'm just going to stick to the more, here's what I did. And if I can stick on a few live streams like I did there on, was it Saturday night or Friday night? That's good too. It kind of gives the best of both worlds. If people want to see me making loads of mistakes, join in on those live streams. There'll be plenty of them. But even I left that live stream as unlisted now because I didn't want it like cluttering up my channel. Not from a, I don't care. Like it's there in a playlist called live streams. If anybody wants to watch it, it's not about hiding it, but it's more just when somebody comes to your channel, the first thing they do nearly is like click on the videos link and see, hey, what does he have? And like you have all these like short or videos and then like a 3-hour live stream. It's kind of like maybe if you have too many of them, it's like it's diluting your actual content. That's what I found.
Are you looking at me,
streaming
Brian?
before? No, because you get to do 2 videos a week, right? Other than the live stream. So you're 2 to 1. I was doing like 1 video a month plus 4 live streams. So like I was 4 to 1 live streams, you know, so that's why I had to get rid of live streams on like as videos on my channel. So yeah.
I think for
that's
me,
crazy.
sorry, I was going to say,
Yeah.
like maybe it's just, as I said, like I feel like I've had a really bad month or at least a bad couple of weeks. So that obviously, you know, puts tinted colored glasses, not that they're really, you know what I mean? Like your outlook becomes that way of thinking. But like, I feel like I'm going through a phase at the moment where like all of my videos are about the trials and tribulations of getting something working. Like I feel like, you know, like I'd love more wins out of what I'm doing, like not even from a video making point of view, but I feel like all the projects you know, taking on have all got their, you know, issues and problems I need to fix. And like it's become a running joke or an expectation on my streams that my streams are always about make something, break it, debunk it, and fix it, and then yay at the end type thing, right? And most of the time we get a yay at the end, but sometimes we don't. Like it's great that people, you know, maybe expect that or you know, joke about that, but that's hard. Like I'm personally finding that that's becoming a you know, like I never try to hide my failures, and I never, you know, I'm quite happy to work things through with people, and it's great getting the community's help. And you know, I'm no expert on anything I'm doing, but it'd be nice sometimes to just pick up a project and do it and it works. And then have something really cool at the end of it and go, oh, that's really cool. I can either make a video of that, or the video process, you know, was an easy one, but just too many fails. I feel like I know it's part of the journey and everyone fails, you know, but I feel like there are too many of them on my channel anyway.
But you do a really impressive work with your live streams. I thought of sharing also progress doing stuff, but it's so hard to do it live. You are always distracted. You can't follow the chat and whatever people are asking stuff, suggesting trolling like me on your streams all the time. And yeah, I don't know how you managed to do it. It would be like too stressful. I would like, you have to set up the stream and so on. And if you stream like 2 hours, there is like 2 other hours to work prior to that or afterwards. To make that stream happen or whatever, or edit or whatever you do there. So it's really hard to do it, and it's really impressive that you managed to push out so many videos and do the live stream stuff and let the people troll you while you trying to do like a really hard work doing your boards and debugging stuff.
Sure, thanks. But I mean, and I enjoy doing that, and I like sharing that. But I feel like it's taking its toll on me. Like I feel like I've now got a mindset where every stream or every project I start, like I'm thinking about all the things that are going to go wrong, as opposed to what's going to go right or smooth sailing. You know what I mean? So, like I get butterflies in my stomach coming up to stream day, thinking, okay, what disaster is going to happen on this stream? And it's fun and everyone enjoys it. I get that, and there's a lot of great banter and the chat, and we all have a good time, like it, and it mostly turns out okay in the end, but it's still quite a stressful thing leading up to it, and wondering if things are going to work.
I don't think I can't recall the outcomes of a lot of your streams. I think a lot of people, not in a bad way or a good way, it's like we go there to hang out and watch you do stuff, whether you fail, whether you success. A lot of the time we're just chatting in the chat room and we're watching what you're doing, and if you succeed, that's great. If you fail, we know that you're going to come back and do it again. So yeah, it's more of showing up that's the win.
I know, but I'm still the project that I'm working on is still something I'm trying to do. You know what I mean?
Oh
like,
yeah,
I appreciate that other
would
people.
drive me insane.
Yeah.
That's why I'm working on like this kind of stupid thing right now, just because it's like easy to do and it's just for fun. Because after I did like all the projects for my book and like all that stuff, I was feeling really burnt out. So now I'm just working on something kind of like silly and fun. So maybe find something like that to do, maybe some with your kids or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love all the little kids projects you've done, the lights and the cars and stuff. It's those videos are very satisfying to watch when you do your tutorial. Like Brian was saying, this is how I wanted to do this and this is how I did it, and they are really good.
Yeah, I actually enjoy. Yeah, like again, the running joke about how when I pull out my pen and paper and people have a giggle, and now I'm starting doing that in my videos as well. Like I like going through that thought process. I find that part interesting. I hope that sharing that is also interesting for people. It's one thing to say, here's something I designed and here I built it, but trying to explain to people why I'm designing it and why I made the choices I made, and whether they're good or bad. I think that's great. I think there's a lot of learning in there as well, not just there's technical learning to be had, but there's also thought process learning to be had as well. And I really enjoy watching other people's videos that do stuff like that.
There's so many tidbits and hints that you get from your live streams as well. That's one thing I always feel like I'm missing out when I miss the live streams, is when I do watch them, you'd be like working in Eagle or you'll be working in Fusion, and either you'll show something and you think, all right, I didn't know how to do that, or someone will pipe up in comments and say, well, just use this command and do it this way. And it's like, all right, okay, that's handy, that's great. That's a really good thing for your streams.
Yeah, I mean, I learn a lot from that, from when people do that, and I know other people also do. Like I got to say, I mean, I love the community. Like I really do, and I used to say like my community, but it's not. It's our community, because we share a lot of people. A lot of the people on my channel have come from your channels, and we're kind of all growing our channels together. So there's a lot of crossover. But I just love the community. It's just really, really helpful and inspiring, and there's just so much knowledge out there. I mean, there are people who have been working in electronics for decades. For me, it's been a couple of years. There are people who can do everything that I do way better than what I can do it, and I learn off that. Like I'm like a sponge. I try to get as much as I can out of all my streams, and I hope that other people who are watching also get the same thing. But it's the same with watching other people's videos. Like I'm a sponge watching all of your stuff. Try to learn as much as I can.
I'd class myself as a leech.
On that bombshell, one thing I've started to do since it's around Christmas, I guess. I guess actually it's since I stopped live streaming, is it's kind of similar to what Liz was talking about, and you as well, Seon, with the wins. Like I've started to work on some things that are not video related, or maybe they'll become video related at some stage, but just like that's turned off now because I plugged it out. But the ESP32 VGA stuff that bitluni did, I was just like, that'd be fun to do when I had like an hour or whatever, just kind of in between rounds of Rainbow Six Siege when I died you get a bit of time. So I was like, oh, I'll throw that together, and yeah, it was fun. And like when it worked, I was like, yeah, that's cool. And I've also done a bit of playing around with one of those current sensors, the clamp sensor, that had nothing to do with the channel yet. But it's just kind of do this thing, play around with it, not record it at all. That was the point that Liz had made, that, not, as in, if you're recording yourself, like, you're trying to do it a certain way, you're trying to think of that, you're trying to focus on keeping it in like focus and in center of your camera and all that stuff. But yeah, sometimes it's fun to just take a step back and just work on things that have nothing to do with anything video related, which is hard too, because you're trying to constantly, especially like you're releasing 2 videos a week plus a stream. That's 3 things that you need to work on. I don't have that pressure, right? Because nobody expects me to release 2 videos a week. If people get 2 videos from me a month, they'll be like, geez, Brian's really putting in the effort this month. So like, I have way more ideas than I have videos, like 100%. Like this just keeps growing. So I'll never run out of ideas for stuff, because I'll never have the time to implement them all.
Sure.
So yeah, it's but I would definitely recommend people just taking a step back and just doing stuff for fun. And if there's a video out of it at the end of it, you can always recreate it, right?
Seon, do you think you will burn out if you continue on that pace?
In terms of the video pace, like I mean,
yeah.
I've been trying
Workload.
to cut back. Yeah, I've been trying to. Well, my workload is just nuts. I was chatting with Yaz about that yesterday. So like for all the stuff that you see me do, I'm doing 10 times more stuff behind the scenes. Like, like Brian was talking about doing other stuff for fun. I mean, I don't know if I'm doing it for fun, but when I've got about like 10 other things that I'm trying to like do and learn at the moment. Like I'm trying to learn Altium, don't ask. And I'm trying to get a tool chain set up for my STM32 stuff, which like none of this stuff I'm videoing, and I'm not planning on doing that. Therefore, this is other learning I'm trying to do. But from the video point of view, like I've been trying to cut down to 1 video and 1 stream a week for the last, or since this whole year. Like I made a decision in December, I'm going back to 1 video and 1 stream a week, but I keep coming up with too much stuff. I've got 3 videos in different forms of edits that are banked up already that I'm not editing right now because I'm trying to slow myself down. It's really hard. I don't know whether it's an addiction. Like it's just this, I feel this need to just, it's Monday, I need to get a video out. Like I'm thankful I've got the stream today because I don't have to release a video today. Yay. But, you even
have 2.
No, I don't want to do, no, I don't want to do 2. No, I definitely,
but I'm 2 live streams.
Yeah, I've got another one. I'm doing another one on Wednesday.
No,
you're missing a joke.
Right, so I'm going to have
Never
3
mind.
live streams. I'm going to have 3 live streams this week. Yes, okay, sure. Yeah, I'm definitely worried about burning myself out. Like I'm definitely taking on too much YouTube side and learning side, but this is what I need to kind of do right now. I'm really rapidly trying to accelerate my learning because I don't want to go back to making games, and I don't want to go get a corporate coding job somewhere. Like this is what I want to be doing for a living, and I'm way behind many of you because I've been doing this for a really short period of time compared to most of you, and I feel like there's just so much I need to learn really quickly. So that's what's driving me.
You have to learn to not burn out.
Right? Don't people have to learn that when they burn out? Like they need to burn out.
Yeah, you learn this, but then you are just like offline for 2 weeks and can do nothing else. So that happened to the most people that are doing YouTube for longer periods of time, and yeah, that's quite hard to do a video a week. I think if you have many subscribers, I don't know how many. Julian probably knows it better, but if you have the more subscribers you have, the higher your standards get, or at least you feel the responsibility and the requirement to do good projects and have a nice finished video, and that gets harder to release anything once a week or whatever. So this pace you can't hold it for forever, and yeah, so I started like this month. We had so good weather. I just took the weekend off. So yeah, as a YouTuber.
How dare you?
Yeah, I went hiking on Saturdays.
I hope you made a vlog about it, did you?
No, but I recorded for bitluni's Trash, so my alternative trashy channel. I recorded my new Makita chainsaw, how I cut back the trees and so on. So this will be another video, but yeah, I did some work outside and.
Chainsaw. Wow, I would not trust you with a chainsaw.
Is it a battery-powered one?
Yes, I can show it.
Wow, I didn't know they made battery-powered chainsaws.
This is escalating.
David Watts just posted in the chat that he burnt
My
out
God.
in 2016.
Whoa.
I'm not comfortable right now. And I'm however many hundreds of miles away.
Yeah, I fell in love with this chainsaw. I was cutting trees and stumps, and so with the hand, and it was like ages. And that one, it improved everything. Yeah.
I want to see a video of you chainsaw with gaffer tape stuck to your hand, or your scooter, electric scootering around your backyard, chainsawing things down. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Okay, folks, so we've been going for almost an hour and a half, not counting the first half an hour of black screen. That was just chat. I was thinking, like, I'm happy to wrap it up soon, but I thought maybe, does anyone want to ask any questions in the chat? If we do this quickly, we're just going to maybe take 5 questions or so. Maybe post do an @ who it's for, and then ask some questions if you want, unless anyone has something else they want to bring up while we wait for some questions to come in.
While we wait for a question, I can tell you that I've still got my PCB way. Have a guess when they sent me this? She's still emailing me saying when am I going to get my review out. So I'm suffering with burnout. You know, it's a serious thing, and
that's not burnout. That's lack of sleep from having twin children.
No, I'm just lazy. I need to get a video out. However, a certain Canadian has just released a PCBWay 2-minute review of their services, and I'm just going to take.
You're going to repost it.
Yeah. And
actually repost his video.
Yeah, this is not Eric here. This is Stephen.
I gotta say, like, I gotta ask the question: how do you do a review of a PCB manufacturer? like,
I guess you look at the drill holes, right?
And go, here's a PCB. It looks green.
And you take a look, just like Eric did, and he goes, "Oh, look at this. This looks like a perf board, and it's very well done, eh? And I think I'll use it, eh?"
That is the worst Canadian accent of all time. What is that? You're not even saying "a" well.
I'm going to stop that. I love it. He's a good. It's just out of love. Come on.
Okay, we got a couple of questions. I'm going to Maxint ask one of me, but I'll leave that for the moment. I'm happy to answer this time. But Mr. Watts has asked a cringy question. I don't know. Let's not do all of us because that's going to take forever. But I don't know. Let's pick one person to target to. He wants to know, what do you admire about one of your fellow streamers? So I mean, we've already been kind of, chatting about each other on that as well. But does anyone have anything they want to bring up about one of their fellow streamers? Does anyone have a no?
No.
I just wanted to bring it up because he said it was a cringy question, and so I thought maybe someone might come up with a really cringy answer.
As we all cringe.
I dislike you severely. Yeah. No, I really, I do really like people who can 3D print as good as Stephen and Liz can, and now even you, Seon, are running away with your 3D printing. I have spent a lot of time 3D printing, and I would be happy if I printed a box, not these like Fabergé eggs and stuff. And like Stephen has posted pictures of stuff he used to do for was it 3D Hubs or whatever it was, and it was like, wow, I can't even like imagine attempting to print that. Never mind actually printing it. So
I've done like 30-hour prints using semi-transparent PETG, and I did that Demogorgon thing, which was like a bunch of parts. That was
like
scary.
if a print takes longer than 4 hours, I'm like, nah, I'm not interested.
That's that's one of the biggest problems with learning 3D printing, though, right? And this is the issue I've got now, is that it's fine for little things, like even this stuff here. Like there's 6 parts to this whole thing, and it takes about an hour and a half to print all 6 parts with a filament change in the middle because of the flex. Like quite often, like you design stuff and you got to wait 5-6 hours or 10 hours to see the results or not. Like it's a really slow reward process. So it I don't know, like I find I tend to rush through the design process really quickly, knowing that the printing is going to take a really long time. I don't finalize my design well at the start. I iterate instead, which is a stupid way of doing it. So
you have just to use layer height of 0.3 and speed up to 100%. It's okay.
Then you get crap prints.
I really love long prints. Maybe I'm weird. Like I look forward to it when I'm like designing something. I know it's going to take a while. Like I've been doing these Game of Thrones shields, and they take like 18 hours. So like I'll design it during the week, and then Saturday morning comes, I like start it and I like watch. I just think that's fun.
Yeah, but you need 2 printers then, because what do you do when you're waiting 18 hours for a print to come out and you have something else you need to print?
Well, it just goes on the back burner,
So this is the first thing I've printed in like a month. So they're for my pegboard, and I put like threaded rod through them and nuts to like balance stuff off. I don't think it's going to come through too well on the screen. They failed like right at the top layer. You can see this one has failed, but it's good enough that I'm just going to use it. Like I don't care. Like none of you would do that, but I'm like, yeah, I'm happy with that. Perfect.
Well, for the more like utility prints, you can like.
I wouldn't care if I was printing an egg and it happened. I'd be like, close enough. I don't think I'm meant to have nice prints. It's just not me.
That's why we can't have nice prints.
Yeah, it's true.
I'd like to say I admire the more intense like software work that a lot of you do, and also the more intense PCBs, because I feel like I do very basic work on that. So whenever you guys whip out like the board designs and everything, I'm always like, wow, okay.
I think when you say you guys, you mean Seon, right? Because none of the rest of us are doing complicated things on PCBs.
Your Charlie plexing tree was.
I stole that from Dave. I stole the complete schematic from Dave.
I was still impressed.
Thank you.
Brian, don't confuse working with little tiny components that are so close together that you can't place them without knocking them off the board as being complex boards. That's silly boards, right?
Well, you're on 4 layers too, right? That's twice as complex as anything I've done. I'm making glorified proto boards using PCBs, like as in I'm even still using the Wemos for the microcontroller for nearly all of them. So
right, and they're selling, right? They're selling on Tindy, so don't complain. People like them.
That's true.
Yeah. Your boards are a seller because people have the Wemoses, people have the displays. They just don't want to use a perf board because it looks rubbish. And it's like, well, I want to design a board that connects this Wemos to this display and has this USB. And it's all right, yeah, it's been designed. It's so much easier to do.
Yeah, for me, it's literally I just have done these. Most of the things that I've made PCBs for now at this stage, I have done so many times that I'm like, I'm fed up of creating proto boards for this or breadboards for this. Like, as in, I'm just going to make the PCBs and they're going to be there. If anybody wants to buy them, they can buy them. But if not, I'll just use them myself and that's fine.
Yeah, once
I'll
you're
hoard them
familiar
all.
and confident with the PCB manufacturers, it's way easier for you to do it like this and wait a week for the board to come. Yeah, it's quite hard work to sort of like 20 pins and then if you are confident with your EDA, you just do it in like a few minutes with some red lines and auto routing and done.
But the problem with that, did you say auto routing? No, naughty. The problem with that is like I tend to not prototype stuff anymore. So this button thing that I've done, I've designed the PCB already. Like I haven't sent it off, but I haven't even stuck any of the parts on a breadboard to see if the concept even works. Like I just go straight to, I've got an idea, stick it on a PCB, make it, get it, and if it doesn't work, fix it, stick it on again, make it again. Like it. I think
sure you're still finalizing whether you're going to use the 841 on that one, right? You don't even have an 841.
I haven't even ordered them yet, and I'm still going to make a PCB and send it off.
I recommend the 841. I've updated my my recommendation level since I started playing around with it a bit more today, so I think you should go 841.
Okay.
You saw it here first, guys. If it's a 85, you know he doesn't trust me.
I don't trust you.
Good call. Good call.
Yeah. Okay. So were there no other questions other than, like I was asked, Maxint R&D asked me how I'm going to prevent burnout. I don't know. I'm going to, yeah. I'm not. Right now I'm ignoring burnout and I'm just pushing ahead because I feel like I've got a limited amount of time available to me for all the things I want to do. So right now, you know, I'll worry about burnout later. But
don't forget the candle has two ends that you can light.
That's true, and the middle, depending on how you're holding it.
Yeah, cut it in half.
Once your crowd supply campaign is up, you can take a week off, maybe.
Once it's over
the
and I've
Bahamas,
delivered them all,
hopefully.
maybe. I don't know about when it's up. But yeah, like I've got quite a lot of milestones coming up, and I think once I'm past those, I might slow myself down. But I feel like right now I've got too much stuff going on, so I can't. So any other questions from anyone in the chat? Because if not, I think we should wind it down, wind it up.
Wind it down, I guess.
Wind it down.
I know that question wasn't for me about the burnout thing, and my release schedule would make you think that I do things on a very leisurely pace anyways, but I think one of the things I see with people doing YouTube stuff that always like, and I'm as guilty of it as anybody, is you put too much pressure on yourself to keep to schedules or do certain amounts of things or whatever, and like it's unrealistic, people's expectations for themselves nearly all the time, and you need some like level of ambition to, like, you know, as in you probably need to work harder than other people to get ahead. That's life, right? But you probably need to manage it a little bit too, in terms of, like, say for example, coming up to Christmas, I knew I was doing too much, that I was live streaming, doing the PCBs, doing the Tindy stuff. It was just too much that I wasn't doing the videos anymore. So I dropped the live streams, even though I like doing them, but you know, had to be done. And now when this new child is born, whenever that's going to be, like, you're probably not going to see a video from me for like two months, maybe even longer, who knows. But like, as in, that's just the way it's going to be, and I'm not going to force myself to do a video like during that time. If I get one done, if the baby sleeps a lot, perfect, I'll do one. But yeah, definitely I see it all the time, and myself included, where people just put like way too much pressure on themselves. And yeah, so cut your cloth to fit your measure, in terms of, like, if you don't have a lot of spare time, maybe change the way you do your videos. Like doing heavily edited videos takes a lot of time. I saw Maxint commenting in the comments about like how long his videos take to make, and it doesn't surprise me that they take that long. But maybe more of a live stream style video where you're talking as you're doing. They're quicker to make. Maybe they're quicker to edit. Who knows? Like, so
Post bags.
Post bags, always a winner. I actually this is one thing that I did since the last time too. I reached out to people on Fiverr looking for someone to edit post bags for me. I did not find anyone cheap enough yet. Even like there was a guy who was terrible, and I sent him a message like, "Hey, how much would it be?" And it wasn't even that it was that expensive, but it was more than I make on YouTube a month. So I was like, I'm not doing this for a post back. I don't make a lot on YouTube a month, so it wasn't that much money.
Post back is the affiliate income that's counting there.
That's true. I don't have scientific evidence of this, but when I'm generating the AliExpress affiliate links, I tag them differently than other YouTube videos, and they never did that well for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
maybe I just wasn't buying cool things.
That's why I don't show post back videos on my main channel. Sometimes maybe on the trash channel, because I don't feel that is the right content for my channel. But it's easy content, I think. Editing post backs is straightforward. You just cut out some pieces and put it together. It takes like 2 hours to edit, probably.
So yeah, it's the same for me, but I was kind of feeling towards the end, maybe I'd be better spending that 2 hours editing a different video, even if it's only 1/5 of the editing of the video. But like, maybe. Some people do really good job with post bags. Like there's a channel, a Canadian called Pile of Stuff, who does nearly all post bags, but he gets great views on them. It's very entertaining. I keep watching them. I don't know why. I don't even like post bags that much, but he keeps drawing me back in. So shout out to him.
Is he the one? But
yes, that is him.
Yeah, he's got the messiest, awesome basement thing. It's fantastic.
Good guy. Yeah, he's a nice guy actually. People check him out. Pile of Stuff.
Cool. And he has a scrolling matrix, which I suspect is using your YouTube API, Brian.
The subscriber counter underneath the scrolling matrix does, but the scrolling matrix is not mine.
Cool. Okay, I think we're going to wrap this up. Thank you all for joining me today on this MakerCast episode 2. Thanks to all the viewers in chat who came along, and
thank you for hosting.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thanks to all the viewers that came and watched 2 streams today, and for all the ones that moved over to the second real stream. I don't know if we're going to be able to sort out what the problem was for the future anyway, but so to let everyone know, the next MakerCast episode 3 is going to be hosted by Brian. I have no idea who's going to be on it yet. We'll, I guess, know that. We'll work that out over the next month.
We need David Watts.
Yes, Mr. Watts. It'd be really good if Mr. Watts stuck his finger out.
There he is.
Pulled his finger out.
He's chatting away.
and came on. That'd be awesome. But yeah, so stay tuned for announcements about that on social media and everywhere else in a few weeks' time when we ratify all that. But thank you all for joining. It's been fun and insightful. And I've got a busy day ahead of me, and most of you are going to go to bed now or something. Have dinner.
If anybody is around on Wednesday, I'm hosting a hack chat on Hackaday.io, which is basically just another chance to ask questions that you could have asked here, and I probably would have been able to give a better answer because I can talk, but rather than type, and I'm a terrible typer. But if anybody wants to join, I think I'll be mainly talking about Tindy stuff. I don't know. I'll answer whatever questions you ask me anyway. So
Awesome.
I don't care about what you ask me. Yeah, thanks. So that's at 12 Pacific time, Pacific time, which is 8 Irish time, Irish UK, and Portugal, I guess. And I don't know what other times that is. 9 German time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My turn on HackChat is on the 27th, I think. So it's also this month. And yeah, be there 9 p.m. Central European time.
Mine's
Cool.
going to be better.
Anyone else have any announcements? Okay. Liz, you got any announcements?
I don't know.
Oh,
You have a video coming out tomorrow.
I do have a video, but it's not like a hack chat thing. That's
okay.
impressive.
I would prefer to be releasing a video.
Will you continue on your badges and your PCB work?
Yeah, I'll be doing a PCB for this, a similar kind of like style that Brian was talking about, where you just slot things in. I'm hoping to maybe do another badge.
Cool. And another book?
No.
Never.
Okay.
Yeah, you have,
I'm working.
you have to
That
talk
was a-
more about your book on the next stream probably, because some of the people are not don't know your channel yet. So maybe you can tell us more next time. And yeah, we will update the description, or it's updated already, but I don't think it's, yeah, but the people have to reload the page probably to see it. So there will be links to all the channels of the people that are on the stream here.
Yep. So make sure you go and subscribe to everyone's channels that you aren't subscribed to already. That'd be cool. And don't forget to like. Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, folks. Thanks a lot. It's been fun. Thanks all for joining. I will. I have no idea how to stop this thing.
Thanks for having us.
No, it still thinks I'm not on air. It still says start on air.
Yeah, it's broken. It's broken today. I'm seeing it shows off air here as well.
Yeah, it said off air for me too.
Okay, so if I'm going to, okay, before
Just
everyone
turn off your
goes,
computer.
I'm going to click this. I'm going to click. I don't know what this is going to do.
Boom.
I'm going to click this. I don't know what it's going to do. Oh, it's opening up another window. Hang on. Hold on. Hold on. We're going to have a third stream. This is going to be good. Just wait. Just wait. Okay.
I can't.
Okay. Got it.
You have to delete your YouTube account.
System 32. Delete it all.
Yeah, it won't let me end it.
You're just going to have to stream for the rest of your life. Sorry.
Keep it up.
Oh, here we go. I can.
It's like the Truman Show.
Right. There's a resume button, but there's no end button. How do I end the stream?
Is it? Do you just hang up on Hangouts?
I don't know. Let's try that.
Yeah.
No, I hung up before and my other stream's still going, my first one. Oh, this is terrible. Okay, anyway, bye, folks. Somehow we're going to end it. Bye.
Bye. It's Seon's problem how to end it. I'm just going to hang up.
Yeah, same.
Okay,
Bye.
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 Bye.